If your main problem is dying in mid-game, you need to watch this video. In this video, I'll be breaking down mid-game and how you stop dying in mid-game into 3 parts. We'll be going over rotation first, how you want to be rotating and positioning yourself in mid-game. Then awareness, also super important. You don't want to get ambushed by random kids or die-to bush campers. And number 3 is fighting when and where and why do you want to fight in mid-game. Before we get into the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and use creator code CoachPhilip. And let's get right into it. So the first part is rotation. This, of course, depends on where you're landing. If you're landing in the mid of the map, like this team right here, it's a bit different than if you land on the outskirts on the side. But generally, our goal with rotating in mid-game is always to get into the dead side of zone. If you don't know what dead side of zone is, quick recap, it's always the side that's closer to the ocean and it just has less people in it, so that's the side we want to fight in. We'll get into that later. And that's just the side we want to position ourselves in, because also this is where zone usually keeps pulling, so you always want to look at where's dead side and where's zone gonna keep pulling, so you can try to predict where zone is gonna go, and then you can already establish a good position early on, so you have a good position throughout the next zones as well. So in this season, mid-game rotates, you can use the launch pad like this team is using right here. This is a Div 2 Cup right here where they placed 9th place. They got 350 points, really consistent games right here, so really well played by them. And yeah, they use this launch pad right here. You can use this to scout, so part of awareness, you can look around, see where other people are. And one thing you need to be careful for is if you see someone, if someone is looking at you, dive straight down. Don't risk it. You can get shot out of the air quite easily, especially if there's a lot of people around you. So don't pad if there's a lot of people around you. And then you can use a launch pad, for example, to get into the dead side. So let's say this team, they're just getting a bit deeper into Supernova. Maybe they want to push that or they just want to chill here. But you can also use a pad, for example, if you land down here at Kappa Kappa Factory and then you pad all the way around here, get into the dead side. One thing you don't want to do, you want to avoid padding through the middle of the zone where a lot of people will be looking at you. So always pad around the edges if you're using a pad in mid-game. Of course, you don't have to, you can just run and play it safe if you have the time for it. But sometimes it can be good to get that good position early on. That's basically all for rotating. Now to awareness, like you already see this person doing right here. You want to be on a high ground position, always look around, don't tunnel vision, please always do 360s, look around, see what's going on, and take breaks in between rotating. Some people, they just keep going the whole time, they never look back. Always take a break, look around, see if it's still safe, evaluate the situation, and just be aware of your surroundings, and then you can keep going. Or like here, they're dropping something, they're very aware of their surroundings, so they sit in the bush to drop this. You can also use mountains or sightlines to your advantage, so run on top of mountains to see other people better, or if you see someone that is on a mountain, run right beside it so they can't look down at you, and just use sightlines to your advantage. Don't run in a full open field, always try to be aware of where people could be and then try to decide, okay, I'm gonna run here instead of on this open field so people can't see me, and always try to have some protection, trees, bushes, stones, so people can't see you that easily. And then in mid-game, your main objective is always to keep your loot so you're ready for endgame. So if you don't have good loot yet, you want to keep looting, you want to go to your secondary loot spot, find good loot. If you do have good loot, you want to get into the dead side. You can do that with bad loot as well and keep looting there, but you want to get into good position and then you chill. Try to sit in a bush, sit in a house. I wouldn't recommend building a huge tower only if you need surge because it's so stacked, but it's always better if you can use surprise to go into a fight. So you sit in a bush, surprise someone, or in a house, surprise someone that goes in there. Because if you have a base and you just build a brick base, that's okay, but people know where you are. So if they want to push you, they can push you, and you just can't sneak up on people that easily. So I don't recommend basing in a mid-game where there's not that much going on, especially if you're in dead side. So just like they're doing, sit in a bush, chill, maybe get a free kill. And just like they're doing now, so they were in the bush right here, they saw the new zone is pulling up here, so they want to get deeper into this side of zone. They could have probably also stayed back here, they were already dead side, but they're trying to get into deeper zone here, so they definitely pull next zone. You always have to think about if it's worth it to go into next zone. Like if there's 10 people in front of them, of course it's not worth it to get deeper into zone, but if it's completely free, then you can always try to get deeper into zone to get a better position and pull next zone. Here they got to be super aware because people are behind them, and they do this nicely. They build, they see them, and then you want to build preventively. Don't build once you are already shot, once you already got beamed. Build before that. Try to always use your wood in these situations. Like if someone's behind you, you see them, just throw some wood walls up for safety. You can easily reform your wood, and that way you don't take damage and you can save your heals for endgame. You never want to waste your heals in mid-game, so that's what you want to use wood for. Other than that, only use brick and metal for fighting, tarping. Only use wood for this. Now for fights in mid-game, so you can either do it like them, you don't fight, you disengage like we just saw, they try to go away with their wood because they don't need the fight. Generally you only want to fight if number one you need surge tags, but you can also get that from a distance if you need damage. You can just shoot people with the OXR rifle really nicely from the distance, get a high ground position, laser people from high ground. Or if you have really bad loot. If you don't, like they have pretty good loot right here, they have launch pads, heals, good loot, they're chilling, they have good mats. If you have really bad loot, in some situations it is better to try to fight someone because then you can fight them for their loot. You never want to be fighting for nothing because here you only get 1 point per kill, so it's not worth it for the points. You need to gain something from the fight because in most fights you always lose mats, you lose heals, it's not worth your time. So you always want to make sure you're gaining something from a fight. That's the only situation you want to fight in. And be very careful where you fight. Like if they fight in the middle of zone, like if they fight here now, they're gonna get pushed from every side because there's people all around them. So only try to fight if you're like these two teams back here, you could fight nicely without someone third party. Always think about where other teams are and if you can finish the fight quick. If you don't get an instant advantage on the fight, like here, the other team had high ground, so this team right here that we're watching, they couldn't get an advantage, so they don't decide to fight it. If they would have fought this, they would have probably died because they don't have the instant advantage. You always want to go into the fight with an advantage, high ground, damage, or maybe you have more mats or something. So they disengage nicely, and then this other team actually fights them up here because they built so high that people knew they were there, and then they get W keyed by a team that really wants to fight. But now they're fighting here, and like we see, this team is spraying them, everyone's looking at them. Really weird fight on top here, in the middle of the zone. Now another team is coming, so there's 4 or 5 teams here now, just because one team wanted to fight, which is pretty stupid. And yeah, that's the main things you need to know to start surviving more in mid-game and don't waste your mid-game. So you actually get into the end games and then secure as many points as possible in tournaments. If you have any more questions, just comment down below or message me on Discord. You can join the server and I'll be happy to help you anytime. See you in the next one.